You've been working hard, haven't you? Long hours, skipped lunches, weekends lost to deadlines, and yet, somehow, the wealth you see on the outside seems like it's happening to everyone else. Maybe you've asked yourself, why am I still stuck while others quietly rise? Here's the thing, there's a pattern, but it's not what you think. Most people chase money with the same frantic energy, believing that hustling more equals earning more. But quietly wealthy people, they play a different game. One that isn't flashy, isn't loud, but somehow always works. Picture this, two people in identical situations. Both start with similar opportunities, skills, even luck. One ends up quietly wealthy, the other's still waiting. The difference isn't luck. It isn't intelligence. It's a set of habits so subtle, so ingrained, that you almost miss them while scrolling your social feed, while answering emails, while chasing instant gratification. The quietly wealthy aren't secret geniuses, they're simply consistent in ways that feel invisible. Now, I don't want you to think this is about cutting back on your less or finding a 9-to-5 side hustle. That's amateur work. The habits I'm talking about shape how you see money, how you let it grow, and most importantly, how you protect it without thinking. Imagine waking up one day and realizing your financial stress isn't gone, it's never returning because your system, your lifestyle, your mindset quietly built 12 while the rest of the world chased distractions. Here's a hint at one of their secrets. It's not in your bank balance, it's in your mind balance. Quietly wealthy people make decisions that might feel uncomfortable at first. They delay gratification, they make invisible investments, and they value freedom over validation. And yes, some of these decisions are going to feel awkward, even lonely, because society conditions us to applaud noise, not subtlety. So, if you've ever felt frustrated watching friends or colleagues suddenly succeed while you grind away, take a breath. You're about to discover habits that could change your trajectory. Habits that aren't taught in school, rarely mentioned on social media, but are quietly practiced by those who sleep well knowing their money works while they dream. Here's the truth. Wealth isn't loud. It isn't an Instagram post, a car, or a watch. It's quiet. And today, you're going to get a peek behind the curtain, because once you see how they think, how they act, and how they structure their lives, you'll understand why some people seem to have been born ahead, while the rest struggle to catch up. By the end of this video series, you won't just know what quietly wealthy people do, you'll start doing it yourself. You'll start noticing opportunities others miss, habits others ignore, and strategies others don't dare to adopt. And that first step, paying attention, really paying attention, because your future self will thank you for it in ways your present self can't yet imagine. So now that you've seen the curtain peek, let's talk about the first invisible habits that quietly wealthy people live by, habits that aren't flashy, but are extremely effective. Habit 1 isn't about earning more, it's about thinking differently about money. They don't just chase dollars, they chase value. Every decision, every purchase, every investment is measured against its potential to create freedom, not status. That morning coffee, it's not just caffeine, it's a moment to strategize, plan, and align with long-term goals. That's why the small, everyday choices add up faster than the big, dramatic ones. Habit 2 is their relationship with risk. Quietly wealthy people understand that comfort zones are wealth killers. While others hide behind security, they carefully step into calculated risks. They study opportunities, prepare for failure, and then move decisively. It's a mindset of patience combined with courage. And the irony, the world calls them lucky, but luck has nothing to do with it. What looks like luck is simply the outcome of consistent preparation and disciplined action. Habit 3, perhaps the most overlooked, is their respect for time over money. You see, wealth isn't built in hours, It's built in decades of compounding decisions. The quietly wealthy don't waste their energy on fleeting distractions. Meetings that don't matter, notifications that derail focus, gossip that drains energy. They've learned to protect their attention like it's the most precious currency on earth. Because it is. And this is where most people fail. They chase short-term gratification, scrolling endlessly, while their long-term wealth quietly slips away. Habit 4 is constant learning, but invisible learning. They don't just read articles, they absorb, reflect, and apply knowledge. They surround themselves with ideas, books, mentors, and conversations that expand their thinking. But they don't brag about it. No posts, no lectures, no social media clout. Just quiet mastery and a bank account that eventually proves the point. And here's a subtle trick you might not notice. They combine these habits seamlessly. Time management, calculated risk, continuous learning, they reinforce each other. Each habit becomes a multiplier. The more consistent they are, the faster their invisible engine grows, while the outside world only sees the polished results, not the disciplined routine behind them. Now you might be wondering, these habits sound nice, but how do they actually show up in real life? Let's pull back the curtain a little further. Habit 5 is strategic networking, but not in the way you think. Quietly wealthy people don't collect contacts for appearances. They invest in relationships that matter, people who inspire growth, challenge ideas, and open doors to opportunities. These relationships aren't transactions, they're long-term value exchanges. That's why some connections seem random but end up transforming their trajectory. Habit 6 is deliberate spending. The quietly wealthy don't buy luxury to impress anyone, they buy it for leverage, convenience, or efficiency. Every dollar is a soldier sent to work. Impulse purchases, rarely. Every financial decision has a purpose, whether it's to free up time, increase earning potential, or secure future stability. They understand that money is a tool, not a trophy. Habit 7 is passive income mastery. Most people think wealth comes only from a paycheck, but the quietly wealthy create systems where money works while they sleep. Real estate, smart investments, businesses that run themselves, these aren't get-rich-quick schemes. They're consistent, calculated, and compounded over time. What feels like effortless wealth to outsiders is actually years of disciplined groundwork. Habit 8 is emotional control over money. Think about it. How often do you make financial decisions driven by fear, envy, or pride? Quietly wealthy people pause, reflect, and act rationally. They know that impulsive reactions destroy wealth faster than bad luck ever could. Their emotions are calibrated to long-term thinking, not short-term gratification. And here's where the magic starts to appear. When habits 5 through 8 combine with the mindset and habits from earlier, wealth begins to feel almost inevitable. You'll notice that these people don't brag, and that's no accident. They understand the psychology of envy and distraction. Loud displays often attract risk, jealousy, or competition. Staying quiet allows their systems to grow uninterrupted. At this point, you're beginning to see a pattern. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter, deliberately, and silently. The quietly wealthy design a life where their decisions compound invisibly, and the results speak louder than any post or selfie ever could. By now, you've seen the foundation: mindset, invisible discipline, strategic networks, and deliberate financial moves. But the quietly wealthy aren't just methodical, they're strategically counterintuitive. Habit 9 might surprise you. They embrace solitude. While the world chases social validation, they intentionally carve out time alone to think, plan, and reflect. This isn't loneliness, it's clarity. Ideas, opportunities, and insights often appear when no one is watching. That's why their growth feels effortless to outsiders. It's silently fueled by introspection. Habit 10 is saying no consistently, not just to big things, but to small distractions, parties, trends, overcommitments. Saying no creates space for yes to investments, yes to opportunities, yes to growth. Most people confuse politeness with smart decision making. Quietly wealthy people know the power of selective action. Every yes they give carries weight. Every no protects momentum. Habit 11 is measured humility. Unlike the noisy wealthy who display their success to impress, the quietly wealthy understand that humility preserves influence and prevents unnecessary attention. They let results speak. Others may underestimate them, but that's part of the strategy. When action is silent and consistent, envy fades, doors open naturally, and credibility compounds quietly over time. Habit 12. The final habit is compounding self-investment. Every year, every month, every week, they allocate time, energy, and money to improve themselves' skills, health, mindset, and vision. And here's the twist. They don't just invest for immediate payoff. They invest for exponential, long-term growth. A book read, a course completed, a conversation had. These may feel small now, but they accumulate into a life of freedom, influence, and financial resilience. Notice a pattern. These habits aren't glamorous. They're subtle. They require patience, discipline, and quiet confidence. But when combined with the habits from earlier parts, they create a system no flashy trick can replicate. That's the core of quiet wealth, compounding habits, invisible to the crowd, but unstoppable in their impact. You followed the journey, seeing the habits, and now it's time to ask yourself the hard question. Are you ready to apply them? Quiet wealth isn't about luck or inherited advantage. It's about deliberate, consistent action. Every habit we've explored: mindset, strategic risk, emotional control, compounding self-investment forms a blueprint that anyone can follow. The difference between you and quietly wealthy people is an ability, it's choice. Start small. Pick one habit that resonates most and integrate it into your daily routine. Maybe it's prioritizing your time over trivial distractions. Maybe it's creating passive income systems or learning to say no. Whatever it is, do it consistently. Small actions compound over time, silently transforming your life in ways that flashy moves never can. Remember, the quietly wealthy didn't start with perfection, they started with persistence. Think about it, every habit you ignore today is a missed opportunity to build freedom, security, and influence. Every moment you chase instant gratification is a moment that could have multiplied into wealth if invested wisely. You don't need to overhaul everything at once, but you must start. Even one step in the right direction sets the momentum for everything else. And here's a crucial insight. If you want to accelerate this journey, the next step is understanding why many people fail despite good intentions. That's exactly what our next video covers. This is why you're not winning yet. It dives into mindset blocks, bad habits, and the subtle shifts needed to turn effort into undeniable results. Watch it, because applying these 12 habits without addressing limiting patterns is like planting seeds in barren soil. Before you go, here's your action checklist. Commit to one habit today. Protect your time like currency. Reflect on your decisions weekly, and always invest in yourself. Slowly, these habits will build a life where wealth isn't chased, it's inevitable. If this video resonated with you, subscribe to Wisdom Recorder, hit like, and stay tuned for more strategies to refine your mindset and change bad habits. Remember, this channel is your knowledge source, and the quiet path to wealth begins with knowledge applied.